So,
Top one is next.
can I have Nana, Bonnie, please up here? Nana, please come. Good morning, everybody. It is indeed an honor for us to see, such a big number of our treasurers who are working so hard in their respective churches to make the treasury work look easy and, and fluent. This morning, we'll be covering a few aspects of the conference receipting side, the tithe and offering reports which the treasurers send on a monthly basis to the respective conferences. And I'm honored to have my colleagues from SEC here. Nana Bonnie, he deals with the tithe and offering, and Carrie Ann, she deals with the gift aid. So after looking at the tithe and offering side, we'll be reviewing briefly the gift aid also. So I think Marcus in his presentations very beautifully explained all the procedures, from Deacon's book to the banking and to create a financial statement. So this is just an overview of what Marcus just, presented. This slide is also in the manual, so you can see from there also. We can see the record, process, and report. So the deacon's book should agree with the receipt book, and then it should agree with the deposit book, and with your ledger. Ledger is the cash journal or cash book or the Excel spreadsheet, whatever you have, to keep your records, So there should be, as Marcus said, there should be audit trail. We can, from the beginning till the end, it should make a sense, it should make a sequence. So this is very important, and I would like to thank again Marcus for the wonderful presentation. The next thing which I'm going to be sharing here with you is about the tithe and offering reporting. Nana told me that there are quite a few treasurers in our group here who are fairly new and who haven't even reported a single report yet. They just recently came into the office, and we thought it will be good for them to see this, how to fill in the report, and how to report it to the conference on a monthly basis. Nana, can you please join me up here? So we receive these reports on a monthly basis. So we have the envelopes. The envelopes, are given to the conference treasurer once the deacons check it and sign it off and all that. And then the conference treasurer receipts the envelopes, in the receipt book. So we can see different receiptings going on. Yeah, so we got one full page of receipting here. So what is important then is that on the receipt book which SEC and the missions use, on the right-hand side there are columns where they have the totals. This page analysis and the closing balance, yeah? But at the NEC, they have a separate, a sheet which they fill, once they close off their month, and they put the total tithe and all that. They do the analysis on that sheet, but it's the same thing. So we want you to, make sure that when you send us the report, like this is the first page and the second page, the same principle, you receipt it, you write the date. If you have the gifted number for them, please write the gifted number. If you don't have their list, of the members which are on the gift aid, you can contact Carrie Ann at the SEC. Sister Joycelyn sitting there at the NEC, please get in touch with her at the NEC and get up-to-date gift aid list of your members. And for the missions, please email me. I can send you the up-to-date gift aid list of your members. So it is very important and very helpful for us that if you put their gifted number right at the beginning when you enter their receipt in the receipt book. So you have the total amount there, you have the tithe, Sabbath school, and other column, and the local column. So please break it down, write it, in the tithe section, the Sabbath school or the world mission in that column, And in the other column, you can write the ADRA or the various other offerings. And in the local budget, can go into the local box there with their local building offering or budget offering. So that's how you fill your receipt. And then once the receipt is done, make sure at the end of the month, your total agrees with the deposits you've done for that particular month. Because that is one of the big challenges which we face, that if the total of the report sometimes doesn't reconcile with the deposits you have done for that particular month, and my brother Nana can, verify that when they do the reconciliation, it gets very challenging, because we can't, reconcile it. So please, double check before you send your report that the deposits of that particular month agrees with the total of that particular month's report. It's a small check which you have to do every month before you send the report to the conference. Nana, is there anything you want else to be added in this?
I was just going to reiterate what Aftab just said. We can only reconcile the figures you put on your sheet. We cannot reconcile what's in your mind. So make sure that the figures you are giving us, first of all, it makes sense to you. Now, the challenge I have is sometimes I cannot even read treasurer's handwriting. And if I cannot read it, it means I have to guess, and there's no creativity in accounting. Does that make sense? So make sure that you can read it, and we can read it. And secondly, okay, I'm just going to hold on. When Aftab comes to that point, I'm going to talk about that.
So, like we are in February now, and we expect the February report to be sent by the following month, before the 10th of each month. So please complete the report and send the report before the 10th of each month so we can process it and we can return the local offerings back in time once we receive the report, from you guys. So please send the report by the following month. 10th is the deadline, so before 10th, please send the report each month. Yeah, this is the same thing which we have discussed. Deposit slips are very important for us for reconciliation. Please send the deposit slips. I'm just stressing on it again. Please send the deposit slips, every month with your report. Because without deposit slips, we can't reconcile the accounts. So we need those slips, with the report.
If you're struggling with any of the information Aftab has just given you, contact your missions, your conferences. We are there to work around you. We acknowledge that you are all volunteers helping, but we need this report. Now, I just want to say this. Do not send me your reports without your deposit slips. Does that make sense? Now, 2017, 2018, those of you from the SEC, we will be chasing you aggressively for your deposit slips. Now, why do I say that? Because sometimes, SEC has roughly about 210 churches, and we just roll in, and we get to probably 6 months down the line, and I realize I do not have deposit slips for some of the churches. And then I begin to struggle. So if you're a new treasurer here, if we don't have your details at the conference, contact your conference. Make sure we have your email address, your correct email address. Make sure we have your contact phone that we can reach you, not your house line because you don't pick up. We want your mobile phones that we can reach you on. And then make sure we have your postal address. Is that okay? So that we can also be able to receipt you. Is that okay? All right.
Thank you, Nana. Very important. The contact details, because sometimes we need to get in touch with the treasurer and we don't have their up-to-date, email address. And each time when there is a change in I just want to add that, Nana, that whenever there is a change in the treasury role in the church, please, get in touch with us so we can train the new person. And if you can do the handover, and then we can also come down there and do a training right at the start so they feel comfortable when they start, processing or, preparing their reports, which is, the training is very important. So please, if there is a change in the role, please let us know. Okay, the next is Church Pal. Quite a few, churches in South and also in North are using this electronic software, for reporting their tithe and offering. This is something, a good news for the Welsh and the Scottish mission representatives sitting here, that hopefully in this year we'll be rolling out this in the missions also. The electronic tithe and offering system, so no more manual writing, and so you can just post the data right in the system and it will generate the report for you. And you can email the receipts in this. So if you have, when you enter the donor's details, if you have their email address, you put their email address in the system. You have to put the gifted numbers once only, and then it automatically picks it up. You don't have to repeat it again and again, yeah? So you can email the receipts, you can print the receipts, you can send them on a weekly basis, you can send them twice a month, you can do a monthly statement. Whatever you want, you can do with this. We're also encouraging now, because this software can be used also for the local treasury role also. So we're encouraging new churches who are coming to please start using this software for the local side as well as the conference reporting.
Yeah, currently at the South England Conference, I think, within this year, I have released 50 brand new laptops, top of the range, brand new laptops to 50 churches. Now, if you're not from South, don't be jealous, yeah? But listen, this is how it works. L is going to match it. Now, last year we gave about 40. Now, as I said, our new treasurer, what he's trying to do is trying to phase out the pink sheets. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight. Some of you probably have to keep using the pink sheets because it works for you, okay? It's really good. Now, this is what I want to say. If you have been given the laptops, it's not just for conference reporting. Now, what do I mean? South England Conference and the BUC probably is the only union in the whole world that separates conference treasury duties from local treasury duties. In most of the conferences around the world, it's just a treasury department, and then the team works around it. So the challenge with Church Palace, when I give a laptop to a treasurer, the treasurer will tell me, oh, okay, can you give one more to the local treasurer? No, everything needs to happen here. Because when you go back to your business meeting to give a report, the conference treasurer don't give a different report from the local treasurer. Does that make sense? The church wants to have a full financial statement. Is that okay? So Church Pal is designed for that. If you are struggling, myself, Aftab, and all we are there to support. This whole year, I've been running 5 solid Sundays, like back-to-back, training at SEC. It's all done. I'm not doing any training for the rest of the year. What I'm doing is I am coming to help those I've trained to make sure they understand. Now, if you didn't get a laptop this year, don't worry, there's 2019. Okay, and then my duty is to come. I'll organize further trainings, but we are done for this year. Is that okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Nana, for reporting about SEC. About NEC, if Brother Charles is not here, I can't guarantee about the laptop, but we can organize a training session. So if any of your churches in the north are interested in Church Pal, please get in touch with Brother Charles, so we can organize a training session, for Church Pal for you guys. This software can help you also. With one click, you can print a financial statement which you can present into your board. You don't have to, write all the report or type it and all that. Just with one click, you can generate your financial statement, monthly statement, 6-month statement, annual statement, whatever that is, and you can present it to your board, just with one click. Yes, the trainings which we will be doing now will be for the local side as well as the conference side. Just want to make that clear. The trainings which we will be doing is the local side as well as the conference side. So, Brother Charles, what I said to the NEC treasurers here is that, if they're interested in software, they can let you know, and if we can have a good team, we can organize a training session for them. I didn't promise any laptop, but, Yeah.
They know the story about the laptops. Listen, in fact, I was chased outside speaking to another treasurer, asked to come in to defend why we are not able to offer laptops. The real truth is the NEC is coming from a totally different place to where the SEC is. And our encouragement is we will do the license for every church that's going to be on church parlor, whatever it is you're going to be using. We cannot, unless there are extraordinary circumstances where a given church just cannot physically purchase, and we see there is some merit in them having it, we might cooperate with the church and probably come up with a way where we say, listen, you haven't got the finance now, we might put it in your trust fund, and then over time it will be, but we cannot give laptops. We haven't got that kind of finance right now, okay? But we would encourage all the churches, and I see no reason why most of our churches would not be in a position to purchase a laptop for the Treasury Department. Okay, sorry, but we can't do any better.
Just wanted to, close this session so we can start the gift aid presentation. I think this all has been covered, the requisition form and all that by Brother Marcus in his, audit and the internal control presentation. Let's move now to any questions? Yeah, all of these, requisition forms, income and statements, expense statement and all that, all of these is in the manual which you have. So you can always refer back to this local treasurer manual, and you can see, all the forms, the templates are there to guide you, how you can, report, and do your bookkeeping effectively. I can see one hand there. Yes, brother?
I was just wondering, the gentleman who was talking for the South Indian Conference, is he still around? Because I wanted to ask a question. Number one.
Is Nana there? If you could call him in, please.
Well, unless if somebody can answer the question. Number one, I was just wondering, if we go to our church board and ask them to buy us a laptop, will you be reimbursing us? Number one. Number two, the software, is it free or do we have to pay for it? Because I personally think if you have given 40 or 50 laptops, I don't think you can stop
I
there.
can answer the second part of your question, but the first part I will refer it to Nana.
Thank you.
The second part is that there's an annual charge of this software which is 50 Canadian dollars per year.
So who pays for that? The local
I
church,
think
or
at
do
the
you pay
SEC,
for it?
who bears that?
This is the plan at the moment. For all those of you using ChurchPal, the South England Conference foots that bill, which is $50, right? Now, if any other software, there's one called Easy Treasurer. I think it's a bit over the mark. It's a bit, I think it's about £250. And I think that at the moment, the treasurer is working on who is actually going to, whether it's a local church or the conference. So I don't want to talk about the treasurer. This is why I know, ChurchPal. Is that okay? Good. Has it been solved?
Yes, and
Okay, the conference pays for the 50, the subscription.
$50.
Yeah, $50.
Which is
for the
£35
SEC,
roughly.
and same for the NEC also. The conference pays for their annual subscription, yeah?
Because my question, the other first question that I really wanted you to ask, to answer me was, with the laptops, you can't stop at a number in 2018. I personally think, looking at it in this sense, I don't think it's fair for me as a treasurer to be carrying around £2,000 every Sabbath until the banks open on Monday. I was just wondering, if I go to my local church, they buy me the laptop, if you give me the specifications that I need, will you be reimbursing me if I go and do that with my church board? Because I personally think, right now as you sit in here, we were talking about it with my treasurer that I came with that. For example, there will be the church understanding that I was robbed, but there is always that percentage in the church that will not believe me. So I was just wondering, can we roll this out sooner than later?
All right, Can I say this? Do not buy any laptop and expect the conference to reimburse you. We haven't agreed anything with your local churches. That's number one, okay? Number two, if you need it, please speak to me, because I don't want to waste, but just speak to me. We can work on something. What I was trying to say is this. Because we are now rolling ChurchPal for both the local treasurer and the conference treasurer to use, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of the bank reconciliation. So for those who have been trained, I want to make sure they are maximizing the use of the laptop before I bring on new guys. Is that okay? Because at the moment, if I roll everyone on like 200 churches, it's going to be difficult. So if you still think you want to work, just call me at the conference. We can work around things. Okay? Is that okay? Thank you very much.
Just stay here, Nana.
All right, all right.
From what I'm gathering here, from what I'm gathering here with the conversations, is SEC seems to be fully equipped.
Very good,
whereas
it's true.
NEC seems to be lagging behind. Now, in terms of the overall setup of BUC, there should be an expectation, similar expectation of what an SEC does and NEC does.
All right, the
And
boss is going to
if-
answer.
If NEC is struggling in some way, I think the BUC seems to be supporting them to bring us at par, because I think we seems to be...
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, wow. Who's the lady? Who's the hand? We'll meet later. God bless you. I have a hug for you. Actually, you know, I appreciate that. And in fact, one of our treasurers, when I sat down a few seconds ago, said, why can't we ask the SEC to work with us and help us out, at least for now, until when we are picking up, as we said to you last night, treasurers, things are definitely improving. But, you know, we came from a very deep place, and we have to be sensible. And so, honestly, if we can get some assistance, we would appreciate it so greatly. So Earl and SEC, we'll talk. Okay? Thank you.
Is there any other question, or shall we move on to the next presentation?
I think we move on. Good.
Just last question.
This should hopefully be a simple one. You mentioned before about returning reports with deposit slips. Now, we have a paying in book, sorry. So, of course, when we go and deposit funds, it's on the little tab there. But I don't believe we've been sending anything in. Obviously, we write down the date and the amounts that we've deposited into the NEC's account. Am I supposed to be submitting more with that?
If you're just
Sorry.
writing the amount on your report and that's it.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
But if possible, if you can just, send the deposit slip along with the report.
So you mean you want me to tear out the
Yes.
stub from the deposit book and send that as well?
But if there is, no, not the stub. There is a two-part of the counterfile,
Sorry?
of each deposit slip. So one bank keeps it and the other stays in the book.
No,
Yeah? Something happens? All right.
I don't have one like that.
Let me explain. Something happened. Now, those of you who got your bank slips probably in the last 6 months, you realize there are only 2 sheets. Now, prior to this, there used to be 3 sheets, triplicates. So when you go to pay, the bank will take one, and then you have 2 counterfoils. You keep one, you send one to the conference, right? But then the past 6 months, we've been sending only 2, a book that's basically just like duplicates. Now, we have spoken to the bank. They've asked us to withdraw all those books, so they are now sending back the triplicates. So when you get the triplicates books, please just take let the bank take their own, take yours, and send yours to us. Another thing I want to mention, when you go to pay stuff at the bank, don't just assume that once you pay is okay. Although you have your books, please go to the next step of writing your church code or your church name on the deposit slip, please, if you can, because when the bank takes the payment and they don't state specifically which church is coming from, we have to put in suspense account. And I'm trying to reduce the amount of figures I put in the suspense account. So just write your church name, not the treasurer's name. I don't need your name, your personal names. I need your church name on the deposit slip. And then it allows me to do. And then I think that's all I have to say. So if you have any problem, just call me. I will sort it out. Thank you.
I think the solution, Charles, is that I think for the North England conference treasurers, that we contact NatWest and we arranged to have triplicate paying-in books. Because I mean, the reason why Aftab and Nano are going on, because it's extremely difficult sometimes to reconcile your Tithe reports to what's been banked, because sometimes the information doesn't come through from the bank properly. Whereas if you saw in Aftab's slide, if your Tithe reports ties up to the summaries, which ties up to the paying-in slips, it makes their job very, very easy to be able to reconcile, and that without all the problems having to contact you continually to find out what's happening. Okay, but I think the solution is for the North England Conference treasurers, let's get triplicate counterfiles produced, and then the problem on the Isle of Wight won't treasurer identify wouldn't be there.
For the north, we only have 2 sheets in the north. One the bank keeps, and the other one is the
We said we're going to get triplicate.
Yes, I said for the north, we only have 2 sheets. One the bank keeps, and one, well, the treasurer keeps that one.
Hello. If we can request the bank so they can print the triplicate, deposit book for them.
But we have so many books now.
Okay. Just a moment. 1 second. Okay. My understanding is that the majority of the NEC treasurers who bank with NatWest have a single sheet and a stub, right? Okay, at the moment, it has been working for us because we get from your deposit on our bank statement, your church reference, and the amount of money that is banked. When the reports come in, we reconcile between our posting for the bank receipts and your report. And in nearly all cases, it's fine, okay? But if there is good reason, for reasons of, I guess the NEC have obviously determined that there is reason why there should be a deposit slip coming in. If that's good practice and something else we need to add, then we will look to that, okay? But right now, what we do is working. And it's fine, but we are always happy to move. Remember, if we're going to work with them and they're going to help us with our laptops and all of those things, yeah,
Thank you, Brother Charles, for clarifying this, because NSC used the NatWest Bank, whereas SEC and the missions, we use HSBC Bank. So it's different, with the HSBC Bank. What happens is from last few years, the HSBC Bank have changed the way they put the figures into the system. If you're doing a mixed banking where you have cash and check, what they will do is...
Nana's got a relevant additional point.
Okay.
All right, I was going to say, not everyone goes to the bank to pay. Some people do internet transfer. So when you do internet transfer, please scan a copy of your receipt and then email it to us. Is that okay?
Okay, can I just quickly say something? Yeah. Last night, for the NEC treasurers, if you recall, when we had our meeting last evening, we had a discussion about the fact that many of the NatWest branches that you used to use are closing or already closed. And that is causing some great inconvenience, you having to find an alternative NatWest bank. There was a suggestion, I believe it came from Radcliffe, that he banks by preparing all the monies and everything and put it in a bag and just scan it and drop it in. And my impression from what I saw last night was that a number of you are looking to copy that or to follow that practice. Aftab, can you tell us, with regards to the triplicate situation, how would that work where we're doing a deposit, there's no human involvement on the other side, it's just being dropped into the bank? How?
When you use the machine prints a receipt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can either, scan that or take a picture or attach an email, you can, but what we need is, a confirmation that this amount is for this particular month's report, yeah?
Okay.
Coming back to the HSBC side, as I was saying that the bank has changed from last few years, the system, how they post the figures on the system. And if you're doing a mixed banking where you have cash and checks banking to, at the same time in one, deposit, they will put your church code, which is, on your, for the SEC guys I'm talking here, each church have their own unique code, and they will put that code, let's say for the cash, and for the checks, they will just say paid in at HSBC branch, let's say Watford or Croydon. So for us, it gets very difficult to find out which exact church, is doing that. So that's why we request for the deposit slips, because then it helps us to verify that this particular deposit was made by the Croydon Church or, Brixton Church. So that's why we're requesting it. I hope that clears now. Yeah. Okay, is Carrie Ann around? Where is she? We'll just move to the gift aid presentation now. Carrie Ann will be helping us with the admin side of